All right. 7 layers of the OSI model. When I tell by your faces, you guys are excited about this. This is probably the absolute in every class that I've taught, all the way from Windows NT 4.0 through current technologies. This is probably the absolute most boring class that not you guys, this material that I could ever teach. It's horrible. So hang in there. What? Yes, Austin, yes?
When was Windows NT? I never even heard of it.
Windows NT, let's see. So I went to work for Computerland in 1989. I'm guessing, and you guys can look it up as easily as I can, I'm guessing like 1992, 1993, somewhere in there. Windows NT 4 was current in 1997. That was my first certification, first technical certification. So yeah, so probably 92, 93, somewhere around there. All right, so we've gone through this before. These are your objectives for this chapter. They align with the Microsoft objectives. That's pretty straightforward stuff. We talked about, someone describe in your own words the why we use the OSI model. Someone besides Austin and Austin who answer 90% of the questions in here. Okay, let's narrow this down. Q, why?
It represents how computers work from each other.
From the hardware to the software, up and down the model, it represents how computers function. Okay, how their operating system, how their applications, how their physical devices operate. Okay, so in order to be able to go forward, and honestly, even though this is the absolute most boring stuff you could possibly learn or will learn, it helps you when it comes time to troubleshoot. Because what will happen, it's not every day, it's not every week, but I'll be discussing with an engineer on the phone maybe an issue that's going on in a company, and if, for example, it's a Cisco guy, okay, they'll say, all right, we've got to worry about layer 3, we've already figured out layer 2 is good to go, let's focus on layer 3, or vice versa. That kind of stuff. So we do use this, even though it's this theoretical, not theoretical, it is this model that we use. It does come in handy as you're troubleshooting stuff. So we use it, there are 7 layers in the regular OSI model. We'll talk later, there is a TCP/IP model, not the communication subsystem, but a TCP/IP model that has 4 layers. It's similar to the OSI model, but slightly different. Each of the layers are associated with protocols and devices. And these are the layers. Okay, mini quiz. Mini quiz. Name the 7 layers of the OSI model without looking at your notes, Zach, not Zach, Zach.
Physical layer.
That's 1. That's 2, but it's not in order. I want them in order. Without looking at your computer, Austin.
Physical layer, data link layer, network layer. What's next?
You lose. Thank you for playing. Come back again. Who's got? You got it?
I think so.
Good effort. You got a good start.
Application layer.
Start at the top.
Presentation, session, transportation, network, data link,
And what was the last one?
and physical.
I think I heard you right, Christopher. Or yes, Christopher. You know yours? Okay, so I want everybody to come up with a little mnemonic now to memorize this. A mnemonic now. Uh-oh, this ought to be good. Give me the mnemonic. How many do not know what a mnemonic is? Everyone knows what a mnemonic is, right? Anyone not know? You don't know? Outstanding, you're honest. Probably 90% of these guys don't know what a mnemonic is. What's a mnemonic, Austin?
Isn't it just something you keep track of something in numerical order?
Not necessarily numeric, but alphabetical or in
Yeah, order.
in order. Yes. Okay, so if you look at the layers of the OSI model, application, presentation, session, transport, application, presentation, transport, network, data link, and physical layer. See, I always go backwards. I start at the bottom because that's logical for me. Start with the physical layer, the cabling, and then work your way up to the end user. But keep in mind that it starts at the top. It starts at the 7th layer, or the first layer is actually at the top. All right, talk to me. Give me a mnemonic. Who's got the mnemonic? Yes, Aaron.
All people seem to need data processing.
All people, what?
All people seem to need data processing.
Aaron, you got to stand up.
Alright.
All people.
Seem to need data processing.
Ah, I love it. All people seem to need data processing. Right? That works. All people seem to need data processing. Mine was all people should take network data physically. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but it helped me remember. All people seem to need data processing. That's a good one. Anybody else have a different one? There used to be one going around forever about pizza. Yes?
Please do not take salespeople's advice.
Please
Yeah.
do not take what?
Salespeople's advice. It's not
What kind of people?
sales.
Salespeople's advice. Oh, I like. Did you get that from a friend or somebody that's in the industry?
Internet.
Internet? Please do not take salespeople's advice. How many parents are in sales? Yeah, Michael should raise his hand. Yeah, you'll hear me rip on salespeople a lot. I was a salesperson, I was a sales manager, so I can get away with it. People, yeah, please do not take salespeople's advice. Please do not take selfies. I don't know, we'll come up with something else. All right, good. So now you'll have a pop quiz coming up on that, so you better memorize it. That's one thing you can't use your notes on, the pop quiz on the 7 layers of the OSI model.
We're just gonna, on the pop quiz, we're just gonna have to listen. We're not gonna put anything about them.
Huh?
On the pop quiz, we're gonna have to put anything about the 7 layers.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're going to cover now. We got this covered. We got this covered. Starting on layer 1 at the bottom, right? At the bottom. Physical layer. Cabling, NICs, right? Patch panels. They are non-intelligent devices. All that kind of stuff. Who knows what a patch panel is? Oh, by the way, and this goes for the remote students also who are watching this on video. We have confirmation. Those who can get approval from their parents can go on the field, and their schools, go on the field trip. It'll be a week, be the 17th, which is a week from this Thursday. Okay? A week from this Thursday. I'll send little notices to your high schools, but I have to get right away, it's like Thursday, I have to get the permission slips from schools other than Plymouth. Like Plymouth students sign this generic one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. We'll find out. At the beginning of the year that covers everything. But we will leave the school promptly at 0800 hours, which means it'll give me just enough time to do roll call and then load the bus at door 5. We will, if you are not here at 0800 hours, you are out of luck. You got to go to the media center or go back to your schools. We will leave at 8. We'll travel to Mossburg at Sample Street in South Bend, south side of South Bend. We'll tour their printing facility. She's got a new title. She's second in command. Jean Crumlish will give us a little presentation up there. Alan Collins, who used to work for me, was a student for 2 years, who is their IT guy, will also do a little presentation. Then when we get back on our buses or a bus, we will travel downtown maybe 6 blocks over to the data center. And then V will do a tour of the data center, which is literally, I'm not exaggerating, a world-class data center. And she'll tell you all about the cool stuff about how it can handle a direct hit by a tornado, a level 4 or some garbage like that. They've got whatever that is. tornado and everything else. You will be impressed with this data center. If you want to do some research ahead of time, the name of the place is Data Realty. It's in South Bend in the Studebaker corridor. She will give a tour of the facility, and then Alan will take us specifically, and there's a giant facility. We'll go to a single cabinet that has all of the servers, the equivalent of 28 servers, maybe 30 by now, 30 servers, because they're virtualized, in a single rack, buried in the middle of this giant data center that runs their entire company. 250 users roughly total. Yes? Saw Alan at Blueberry. Do you know who you were? Why don't you go up and say hi?
I did, and you kind of just looked at him and walked away.
Yeah, Alan is not the greatest communicator in the world.
Great guy.
You know Alan? Yeah. Just known through family or? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Alan is not the greatest communicator. I kid him. How many of you have seen the movie Rain Man?
Yep.
Right? Okay. I always give him a hard time because I'm trying to bring him out, trying to get him to open up a little bit and communicate, be more vocal and those kinds of things. Love the guy. Would do anything for him, and I think he would do the same for me. But anyway, so Alan will give you a presentation, and then I will critique his presentation in private with him, as he's used to me doing. And then we will probably, I'll tell you now, we will probably stop at Chick-fil-A on the way home to get something to eat, because it'll be around 10:30, 11 when we head home. But I'm not paying for your food, okay? So if you want any food, you either mooch off somebody else or bring your own money, because I'm not paying for it, nothing personal. When there were times that we would do something like this. I'd have 10, 12 students. I'd usually buy their lunch. I'm not buying them for 30-some. And if the remote students show up that day, now we're up to, let's see, 34 plus, I think we're down to 16. Yeah, it ain't happening. 50 at $10 a piece, not happening. Sorry. Maybe we'll work out some sort of deal where you guys, soccer guys, do something spectacular. I might buy your lunch, but that's it. Wait, no, that would be illegal. That's not right. Then you couldn't go. That'd be against recruiting rules. Okay, so start talking to your mommies and daddies. Start talking to your teachers. Start talking to whoever you need to talk to, especially the remote students, because I'm not tracking down your procedures for that field trip. It'll be well worth it. Okay. Now the assignments say that we have a test that day. Those who do not attend the field trip will be taking the test instead. You all will take the test, but not on that day. So if you're going on the field trip, then you'll be taking that test, or you won't be taking the test that day. You'll have to make it up. Okay? Okay, physical layer again. Think this is really the only layer that you can touch. Okay, you can touch devices that address the network layer, or address the data link layer, or address the session layer, but this is the only one that's actually a physical device. Physical layer, network cards, cabling, those kinds of things. Within it, layers 1 through 3 are the communication subnetwork up to the network layer. Okay, communication subnetwork. Keep in mind that and whether it's wireless or whether it's coax, whether it's unshielded twisted pair, whether it's fiber, those 3 layers still make up the communication sublayer. Everything above those 3 layers takes place within the computer, creating packets and frames and all those kinds of things, or being broken down within it. But the first 3 layers are responsible for the communication subnetwork. The other thing, actually, this alludes to another point. No matter what type of communication is going on, whether it's a ping, whether it's an application that's sending an email, it doesn't matter. Those 3 layers are always used in any time that computers communicate. However, the next 4 layers, layers 4 through 7 aren't necessarily used in every transmission. Okay? They're not necessarily used. Most of the time they are, but sometimes they are skipped over. We've talked about networking standards. We've talked about megabits versus megabytes versus 802 dot. Hey, which is the one that defines Ethernet? What is the Ethernet standard? Someone else besides Austin and Austin? The Austin and Austin show. Even Zach. You know, okay, I'm gonna what's the Ethernet standard?
Oh man, I got no idea.
Oh man, I got no idea. Yes. We're gonna go around the room. Skipping Austin. Yes. 802 dot what? 802.3. What's wireless? Noble effort. You guys have this. Yes. 802.11. This is quiet because in case he's wrong, he doesn't know. Okay, either way, you're going to be wrong. If it's 802.11. Remember that. So those are just simple ones that you're going to use on a regular basis. Again, you can amaze friends and families at cocktail parties, right, Aaron? Right? You can pick up Q, you can pick up chicks by saying, hey baby, you know what the Ethernet standard is? TIA. He'll do that too. It'll work. Right, Brittany? Is that attractive in a guy that can memorize? It isn't? It will be after you get into this class. You'll be a geek just like the rest of us. Okay, data link layer. Okay, so here is when we differentiate between an Ethernet card or a token ring card or a wireless card, right? The data link layer. Just kind of think about that level of detail. And let's take these. This layer establishes and maintains and decides how transfer is accomplished over the physical layer. So in other words, let's picture this. In each one of your computers, every one of them has two types of network interfaces. What are they? You in the red shoes. What are the two network interface cards in your computer? Describe them.
The wireless and the Ethernet.
See, you're smarter than you thought. Okay? Wireless and the Ethernet connection, right? The Ethernet connection has what kind of physical connection? Frank? The Ethernet connection has what kind of physical connection? What's it called? Somebody give me a network cable. Anybody got a network cable? Come on now. What is that physical connection? I just wrote Mr. McCann a nasty letter about you. Come on in. I'm just kidding. Before you leave, remind me and tell them that you're just tardy instead of absent. Okay. No, Austin. For this class period, I want you to chill. Someone that hasn't answered very much. Yes, Michael. RJ45. Did you? You didn't have to look that up? All right. RJ45 connection. RJ45 connection. What's a connection on a telephone, which could be used for data connections? Yes. RJ11. Okay, RJ11. So RJ45 is a little telephone-looking connection, but it's used for Ethernet cables, like unshielded twisted pair. See, I'm trying to get you to put all these things together, put them in context. The wireless card could be in any number of different formats. It could be, give me an idea, physical, talking physical layer. Give me an example of a wireless card. Where would you find, what does it look like, where does it come from, where does it, the wireless card? Miguel, you have any idea? Show me the wireless card on your computer. Is that possible?
Terry, I don't know.
Stop talking, I'm talking to Miguel here, guys. Why can you not show me the wireless card? You're absolutely right, you can. It's built into what? You're there, you're almost there. What's it called? The motherboard. On these computers, most of them, it's built into the motherboard, okay? Has anyone seen another type of wireless card? Yes?
You can buy the ones that go on the towers that have antenna coming out.
You can buy ones that are, they used to be called PCM CIA cards. God, I don't even know if they make those anymore, if they're in any slot. people can't memorize computer industry acronyms. PCMCIA cards, right? And they plug into this weird looking slot on the computer, right? What else?
USB ports?
USB. They use, USB is just such a wonderful, wonderful invention, USB ports. I had a company president in a meeting last week, real formal meeting. He says, Kurt, we need to disable all USB ports in the company. They've got 80, well, I just billed them for 82 antivirus clients. They've got 82 computers plus a bunch of servers, 10 servers. We're gonna disable USB ports across the company because they are a risk. We're a financial services company, and we need to make sure that people aren't copying social security numbers and personal financial data and selling it to the Chinese, right? Literally. I said, okay, we can do that. Are you asking my advice, or are you telling me to do it? I'm telling you to do it. We need to do it. I had an auditor telling me we had to do it. Fantastic. How are you going to connect your keyboards? How are you going to connect your mice? Oh, well, we got wireless. Yeah, you got this little friggin' dongle thing, plugs in the USB port that allows that wireless mount. Oh, okay. How are you going to do your backups? We got an offsite copy that copies to a USB 3 device. We spent probably $600 on the card and then $250 on those 4 terabyte drives. You know, you can get rid of them. I mean, I wasn't as much of a smart aleck like that because these people do a lot of business with us. But essentially, I got the message across, you can't do that. Well, 10 years ago, that was the popular thing. You disable USB because it can be used for everything. Not only keyboards and mice, and it can be used for hard drives, it can be used, you know, little USB thumb drives, right? You can copy data to them, you can use it. You can use it on my Surface Pro, you can use that USB device as an external monitor, right? So they're a wonderful invention, but they are risky. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you know, companies, auditors, bank auditors used to say we need to disable all these to keep people from copying data across. Well, I agree, it's a genuine risk, especially today. Here's the scenario. If you sell, here in the United States, if you sell a Social Security card or a Social Security number that can't be, you can get maybe, I don't know, $1,500 for it, per Social Security number, right? If you find the right illegal people doing it. And this isn't necessarily the people who are trying to get into the United States. This is false IDs, you know, opening up bank accounts, opening up credit card accounts, and then running away. $1,500. So that $1,500, is there a risk there for you? Absolutely, there's a risk. And you know what? $1,500 is not that much money for a typical American to risk, right? So $1,500 is not that, I mean, it's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's not enough to risk your entire life of going to jail and blah, blah, blah. In one of this company's remote offices, $1,500 is 2 years' salary, right? And these people are desperate. And so in that remote office, maybe, you know, if they're really up against it, maybe it's worth the risk to them in their minds. Still immoral, still illegal, even in that country, but it may be worth the risk. And so it's a very valid point, but we've got to be smart about it. There are other ways of accomplishing the same thing. So USB is wonderful. Got off track here. Data link layer. Yes, sir.
I know there's like, you know, we're up to like USB 3.0 now. I think what is the difference for the like the nodes on the USB? Are we gonna cover that?
Not so much. So Austin's asking what is the difference between like 2.0 and 3.0, and then now there's 3 point something, maybe. I don't know. I've lost track. I don't pay much attention to it until I actually have. And by the way, that's the other thing. You're not going to know everything as you go through. Certainly not as you go through this class. But if you work in this industry, you're certainly not going to know everything unless you're Alan. Okay. Alan knows everything. Smartest guy on the planet next to Joe Morris. Okay. And my former partner, Jim Leisring. But when you need to know it, if you know where to look and those kinds of things, you'll learn it. Right? So like, if you have to know what layer 3 is, I'm requiring you to memorize 7 layers of the OSI model because they'll use this on a regular basis. But 10 years from now, are you going to remember what 7 layers? You care less, unless you need to remember, okay, layer 3 is networking, layer 2 is data link for MAC addresses. You'll remember that important stuff. Anybody know the answer? USB 3 point something, there is no USB 4 yet, right? Anybody know this? Yes?
Isn't it just transfer speeds are faster?
Well, it is. That is the difference, and we're not going to really go into a lot of detail about it. What's the current technology, or what technology is available? USB what now?
It's not
Is it still 3.0?
Yeah, I saw it.
Is there a 3 point something? No? All right. Okay. A few years ago, FireWire was the big thing, right? Anybody have FireWire? No FireWire? IEEE 1394, I think. They said that was going to be the big thing. Okay, layer 2 data link layer, we have network cards, essentially. We have the type of cabling that we're using. Although that's still physical layer, the way it communicates on the wire determines what is determined at the data link layer. It ensures error-free transmission over the physical layer under LAN transmissions. So in other words, the data link layer ensures that there aren't shorts in the cabling. It ensures that the type of communications that's going across is reliable. It does this through physical addressing. What's the, actually it's referred to up there. How many digits are in a MAC address? Well, I'm sorry, let's back up. What is a MAC address? Somebody answer. Seth, what's a MAC address?
It's the unique assigned to the Sorry, let me start over. The MAC address is a unique assigned to the person who owns that address.
Hey, Seth, I think you know the answer. You're just trying to read it. So
Yeah.
just tell me in your own words what a MAC address is.
It's the address that each person has to their own computer.
Not only on their own computer, but actually in more detail. You're right, yes. There is a unique address, but how many MAC addresses do you have on your computer?
1, 2.
At least 2, right? Because it's a MAC address is assigned to what, Mr. Late?
In the devices on the computers, so like the main computer and then the wireless card.
The MAC address, say it one more time.
Would it go to the wireless card and the computer itself?
Wireless card and what else? Jessica. And the Ethernet card. So every network interface that you have on your computer, whether it's physical or virtual, has a MAC address. Can someone give me an example of a virtual network card? What is a virtual network card? If you do an ipconfig all on your computer at the command prompt, you'll see virtual network cards in there. What are those? Anyone know? For Gold Star, bonus point, not bonus points, Gold Star, the undying respect of your fellow students and teacher. No one knows what those are. Anybody ever? Yes, Austin. Huh? You were stretching, okay. You don't get the undying respect of your... Okay, virtual network cards are things like, anybody heard of a VPN?
Yeah.
Okay, a VPN connection. VPN connection is if you're establishing a secure connection with a network someplace else, across the internet, usually. Doesn't have to be, but it could be across the internet. Those are virtual network cards. They have unique MAC addresses assigned to them. Every network interface card has a unique MAC address. Because if you have your wireless card and your Ethernet card both enabled on a network and they're communicating, the switches and the other devices on the local area network need to know which one is doing what. Okay? They need to know which one is doing what. So every one of them is unique, and those devices are only going to talk to those that sent the transmission to begin with, or are supposed to receive the transmission. So again, the data link layer, think MAC addresses. There's other stuff. And the data link layer is the type of cabling used also. MAC addresses, we talked about this. Layer 2 switches. A layer 2 switch. What other types of switches are there? Anyone know? Layer 2 switch. Take a guess. Taylor Early, take a guess. If it's not a layer 2 switch, it could be a layer, spit it out, son. Layer 3 switch, okay? A layer 3 switch is like what other device? And we haven't gone through this in depth. A layer 3 A layer 3 switch is like what, Aaron? Like a router. It routes. Okay, a layer 3 switch routes. A layer 2 switch only keeps track of MAC addresses, doesn't care about IP addresses. It only keeps track of MAC addresses. More and more switches are, in the past, 10 years ago again, 7 years ago, layer 3 switches were very, very, very expensive. But you could say if it might be worth it instead of having to buy a $5,000 Cisco router, if you don't need that sophistication, you could buy a layer 3 switch and accomplish the same thing. The purpose, well, we'll get into that here a little bit. Okay, layer 2 switch. A layer 2 switch will broadcast if, let me back up. If that computer on that desk decides it wants to broadcast, a layer 2 switch will propagate the broadcast. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Yeah, you mean, yeah.
It'll allow it to broadcast.
It'll allow it to broadcast, right? Whether it's supposed to or not, it'll allow it because that's what they do. A layer 2 switch will propagate, some are necessary. Can somebody give me an example of a necessary broadcast? We've talked about it many, many times in this class. Josh. When not a MAC address, when you're assigning an IP address. When you're trying to communicate and get an assignment from a, what kind of server? Raise your hand or answer if I point to you. What kind of server? Nope. DNS does something else. Yes? DHCP server. When you're trying to get an IP address from a DHCP server, it's required, in most cases, it's required that you have, that you allow broadcasts on your network. Can anyone explain why? We're trying to put these little pieces of technology, not Austin, we're trying to put these little pieces of technology together so you can start thinking how they're working together, because if you can figure out how they work together, then you can start troubleshooting, which is the essence of what we do in the IT world. We troubleshoot, we fix things. We make people money by making things efficient. Okay, so we have Austin, 2 answers. What's the question?
Yeah.
Okay, how does DHCP use broadcasts? That's what I want you to answer. We have 3 answers. Who else? Caitlin, how does DHCP, kind of talk me through that process?
It goes out to the network and asks.
What is it? The computer? Okay. So you boot up your computer. Gosh darn it. All right, hold that thought. Stop the video and take a break. Thank you. Yep.